Welcome to DFS Karma, where we talk about our favorite fantasy sports plays for football, basketball, baseball, and pretty much everything else. Be sure to check out and create an account with all of our partners, such as MonkeyKnifeFight.online, PrizePicks.online, and StatHero.online. Use the promo code KARMA on any of these sites to get an exclusive deposit bonus. And don't forget to check out all of our free fantasy content on DFSKarma.com, as well as our own premium plays. Without further ado, let's get the show on the road. Please welcome today's hosts.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Thanks for joining another podcast of the Teen It Up edition with myself, AC, and my co-host, Sam Sherman. We actually already had a little blooper in the previous podcast opening, so we're getting started here. Feeling ready for this week at the Heritage at Harbortown. Looking forward to this. This is Sam and I's actual one-year anniversary. We started doing the pods with him last year at this tournament. We actually had a huge win that week, so hopefully we're trying to replicate that success. I'm going to let Sam talk about last week. I told you guys on the podcast last week, I headed to West Virginia. It was awesome. We golfed for 90 straight. 90 holes we put in this weekend. It was 3 days of golf. It was so awesome in the hills of West Virginia. So I didn't get to watch any golf. I got to listen to a little bit, the ending actually on Sirius XM on the drive home. And it was hurt. It hurt when Morikawa missed that putt for me, Sam. It was about a $2.5 swing for myself. That was my week, was him missing that. What was it, 3 feet? I mean, that's for me. Yeah, that was my week right there. How did you do, Sam? How did things go in Karma? And talk about the tournament itself a little bit, what you saw.
Yeah, well, first of all, people got reminded like why the price of admission for PGA Core plays is worth it to see me in a premium channel, dude. Like, I couldn't believe like this was just like it was so good to be back. Where we're on like his last hole. I just need Kuchar to make the cut in the water, double trunk slam. I was like, this guy just Mr. Consistent, like doubles the last hole. But dude, it was an awesome tournament. I ended up losing a little bit. I actually cashed in all my cash games with a 3 of 6 because I went all in on Burger, so that saved me. I mean,
3 of 6. Wow.
Dude, I had Burger. I ran as good as possible in cash because I had literally had
amazing
Burger, Sungjae, and then someone else who came like top 7. Like anyone else, and I would have lost by a million. But so I ended up down in the week a little bit just because my main lineup, Ricky sucks, DJ apparently sucks, everyone sucks. But yeah, it was an awesome leaderboard to watch, regardless of like my profit or loss. We couldn't ask much more in the week back. I mean, Xander, dude, oh man, everyone knows now how much I dislike Xander. And it's not because I dislike him as like a golf. He's an unbelievable golfer. I just am never on the right side. I totally let that sway me, but he's an absolute beast. He's going to win a lot. So is Morikawa, but I was happy to see Berger, dude. I said on the pod last week, I mean, Berger looked really good, and I was glad he could keep it up. He's like my favorite guy to watch because he just doesn't care. Like, he's like a better Duffner. Has like a fat dip in the whole time, doesn't really care, and like makes birdies. Like, it's pretty awesome. So it was a sweet tournament to come back. I'm pretty excited for this week because this is one of my favorite courses on the PGA Tour, but also because maybe even more week when people like just touting what people maybe even this guy was sucked over the first 2 days, so it's an automatic fade, and it's going to be a great leverage spot. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I could go, 10 different ways right now. Just hearing you talk about things like I wasn't in the trenches, but I freaking love kind of scrolling in once in a while. And honestly, like you said, it is so fun in our Discord chat with everybody in there. I mean, I happened to check in and we were already 15 holes in, and I saw the Matt Kuchar tilt in Discord was just going off. But honestly, that's half the fun. Like we talked about that last week, our first podcast back. As lame as it sounds, people don't talk about it enough. At the end of the day, I just like the fun of putting a couple bucks on the bets itself, and obviously in DFS, and just having fun, man. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the niche sports, but I love golf. I love the main sports. It's really just about, having a good time as well. So before we start diving into it real quick, didn't touch on it on the opening. Of course, as usual, DFSkarma.com. That's where all of our content is at. That same Discord chat room we were talking about, that's under the subscriptions package at DFSkarma.com. And we give all our bets. Shout out to Sam, I feel like you win every week this year. I mean, you had an outright bet on Burger. You actually legit talked about that and why on last podcast. So, for the 9 people that were listening, they heard you, Sam, on the podcast last week, but you also talked about it in the betkarma.com chat as well. So let's start diving into this week. My quick takes are like what you're saying. I mean, don't overreact. Just kind of still stay the course, pun intended, right? I think if you dive into our notes that we'll get into here shortly, you're going to kind of know the direction you're going to want to go. I mean, I don't care who missed the cut. I don't care who did what last week. I'm still just kind of sticking to what we know works, right? Like, I wouldn't let things sway you one way or the other, just like you said. It would be interesting to see if we get some weird ownership on things because of it, but I still don't know if that's the case. I think most people are sharper nowadays. There's a million maker, right?
Again, I mean,
so there's always that.
It's comical how bad the payout structure is. I know I'm going to enter it like
it's
a
so
fish.
bad.
Dude, it's like 45% of the pot is to first place. Like, just laughable.
Well, I told you I'm immediate last week because I wanted to, right? I don't always do it, but I wanted to. And I got back 45%, so I lost, but it was fun. Like, I had some lineups, man. Like, seriously, going into Saturday, there was about 4 to 5 legit lineups. And then honestly, on Sunday, I had 2 lineups that were there. I mean, they were 150 at one point, 75th. So you get in that range, you're there. You just you actually need everything to go your way late on Sunday. So it was kind of fun sweating that. I'll probably dabble more in the low dollar stuff as the year goes on, but doubt I actually continue to
say that. I can't stress enough to people that the 3 max, like, I played in the $75 3 max, the 150 3 max, whatever. Like, I cashed like pretty comfortably, like just one of them, but it made a lot of my money back with a 4 or 6. Like, there's just such an advantage, especially on a week where, I mean, basically last week was a tale of like most of the chalk blew up, which is why you should always be getting leverage in these fields. But like, with the exception of Spieth and Xander, like, all the chalk busted. So like, it made my 4-6 like, as basically when Berger got to like the top 3, like, I knew that was gonna cash. I mean, I wanted Berger to win, but like, I knew it was good because Berger was like 7% owned. Like, it was. I have never seen ownership last week. By the way,
I can't believe he was that low owned. I was shocked.
That's my last thing before we move on. I can't believe how spread out the ownership was last week. I never seen anything like it.
I was mad at myself. But I thought Berger was freaking utmost chalk. I was like, I'll take a little swivel here, So yeah. I was mad at myself on that one because that was like the obvious play. It was just the whole, well, he hasn't played in 3 months. Mm-hmm. I can't even dive into that. So you actually just covered it without saying it, a couple of the gentlemen's name, but in Discord, they were talking about what Sam was just talking about today. And that's, things we're talking about in Discord is like, people want to know more about how to hedge in these 3 maxes. At the end of the day, if you make 3 lineups, you freaking should have won at least in the race on Sunday, if not already cashing. So in theory, you're kind of, always bringing back 33, 35% of your buy-in, which, yeah, that's not great, but at least you always have something in the race. And I promise you do this all year long in 3 maxes. You'll spike a few of the weeks. You'll have a couple of huge weeks, and then you'll have a little bit more bankroll to play with. All right, let's get into it. The way Sam and I do the podcast, if you are newer, we generally kind of go through 3 tiers, and we kind of dissect them real quick on some targets for, the cashier type plays, the higher owned plays, the value plays. And then we kind of look for some pivots. We're not going to talk about every guy because that'd be ridiculous every week. We do try to keep these podcasts a little bit in that 30-minute range weekly, so we're not taking up too much of your time. But, second week back, and we're getting into the flow of things as well. So let me start real quick. I still love my guy, Colin Morikawa at 10,000, all the way up to Rory at 11,300. I really think Rory's going to be probably one of the lowest owned we see him for a while, strictly because he had a bad week. And, the course people out there, just like you and I, are going to say this isn't a Rory fit, right? So I think Rory's going to come in really low owned. I mean, Colin, even though he missed that I don't really care, but I'm going to continue to bet. Okay, probably not going to pay that cash games fees as it sounds. I have a really nice leverage play, but curious.
It was unbelievable to see what happened to Xander and then Morikawa. I mean, Morikawa is not the best putter. He's not like that putt he hit in there probably goes in like 97 out of 100 times, 95 out of 100 times. So I feel for the kid, but he's so young, dude. I'm getting a little tired. I mean, I think it's annoying when anyone compares anyone to Tiger because it's just kind of ridiculous, but his iron play actually is insane. So
it's ridiculous.
He's going to win a
lot. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, dude. I mean, everything is just so close. It's unbelievable. So I like him a lot. Rory, yeah, dude, man.
He's gonna be low owned, man. He
is. I know. I always joke like in the last 6 months of classic Rory on Saturday or Sunday where he just sucks. But like seriously, I don't know what happened to Rory on Sunday. He was an absolute garbage can. Like he was so bad. So I don't know. That was an anomaly. Again, I just said not to react, so I'm going to try not to. But I honestly think my favorite plays in this range, I'm going right back to Jon Rahm, dude. Jon Rahm played about as bad as he could have, and he barely missed the cut. I mean, he looked like after he missed a few putts on the back nine on Friday, he just didn't care, and I think he just kind of was like, whatever. I like him, and man, I'm definitely going to I was wrong. I mean, okay, here's the thing. This course is a lot like Colonial in that you don't need your driver. It averages the shortest driving distance on tour, yada, yada, yada. You hear that all week, Pete Dye, whatever. But people thought the same thing last week, and you can't compare because the fields are normally so weak compared to this week. We have like the top 6 players in the world playing. So it's insane to watch him play. I'm definitely going to play Bryson. Bryson looked like an absolute freak. He was about 2 inches away from being in that playoff, and that man looks like he has absolutely been practicing, and I think my favorite plays in this range are probably Bryson and Rahm, but I don't know if I can play both if I'm only doing 3 lineups.
Yeah, so, I mean, real quick, I'm going to go right back to you. Just give your elevator speech. It does not need to be crazy, but this course, just talk about this course a little bit. I think we kind of overlook that in the
so it's a lot of the biggest comparison here is like the Pete Dye stuff. It's very similar to Colonial where like it's only 7,000 yards. There's one more par 5, which is good, but the greens are so small. They're like 3,700 square feet, which is tiny compared to like the 6,000 square foot. Like last week was 5,000, so even smaller. So there's gonna be a pretty big premium on Patrick Reed. Spoiler alert, all in on. I'm sorry. There's an emphasis on scrambling, all in on Patrick Reed, 100% best scrambler in the game, but. It's pretty similar to, Colonial. It's pretty similar to a bunch of Dye courses, but I'm kind of more in on the guys who are good Bermuda putters, who are good at scrambling, and then who just hit the fairway. I mean, you just don't need to hit it long. The last 5 winners have been guys who hit it like, some of the shortest on tour. I mean, CT Pan hits it so short. Jim Furyk has won here twice, hits it so short. Brandon Grace has won here. So it's definitely more important, but I don't also want to go in like last week where I kind of was like, the bombing narrative, kind of take it out. Like, no, it's pretty, these guys can definitely gouge the course if they want to. So I probably will still play the guys who hit it along off the tee like Bryson.
I love you gave a shout out to my boy, old man Jimmy Furyk, who I took a stand on, played in cash. He popped in the projections portal. That's our proprietary data, really powered by Sam, yourself, yours truly over there. And honestly, he hit every indicator that I was studying when going through the data this week over there. That's something that we love to do is go through the data. We talk about how to break it down, how to study it in our Discord chat. And Jim Furyk was popping in every way, shape, and form throughout that. And I took a stand. I decided that it made a lot of sense last week. And I wish I could tell you it paid off for tens of thousands, but really I barely even cashed anywhere in cash games. But I was still proud that he was the one that carried the weight, and it was like, Webb and Ryan Palmer that let me down. So I still feel like the data itself at, the website that you're helping provide really helped that decision making. So,
and for the record, I think it's always will be, it's important to watch because like if you looked at just his finishing score, Furyk did play fine. I mean, he basically just had a bad Sunday. He was like top 30 at like 7K or something for most of the weekend. I mean,
yeah,
I think he's a great play.
except us, because we talked about him in this podcast, and nobody else likes playing. People don't like playing Jim Furyk because he's old. I'm telling you, that's how DFS people think. And he was only 2% owned this past week. I know we're talking too much about Jim Furyk, but you brought it up. All right, so let's move on. I just wanted to touch real quick before we go to the next tier. My guy is Bryson this week. It's 100% Bryson. I'm kind of glad you brought it up like that. Maybe he becomes Chuck. I don't know. I don't care. We talk about that. These top tier guys, like they're all going to be owned. It's not like you're really going to get too much leverage, but I am going to make decisions. I'm going to make 3 lineups, and I can assure you that Bryson will be in my second main lineup this week. My first lineup is always a cash game roster. I generally try to build below the 10K range, and we'll stress that every podcast we do. But Bryson's going to lead my second lineup. There's no question about it. He actually has pretty good course history here. Some people will look at a couple of the missed cuts, but I was listening to the interview driving home on Sirius. And again, there's no phone in front of me. I don't drive and study at my phone. I'm just listening, kind of, hearing everything. And I loved his interview, man. Like, he specifically talked about how hyped he was, not just to play next week, but how much he loves this course. So I kind of filed that in my memory bank. I know he's been playing unbelievable. Maybe he will be chalk, but Bryson's my guy in this range, along with going right back to Morikawa, because I doubt I do spend 10K on Morikawa in cash games. All right, next range. Let's drop down from Sungjae, our boy, who you can play every week at pretty much, I feel like, any price. It's wild to see him. Dude, he's 9,700 now. That's just crazy in itself now. And we'll go all the way down to Abraham Answer. Obviously, we're not going to talk about everybody in this range. But Sam, where are you looking to start for your building blocks in this range?
Yeah, I mean, I play Sungjae and Hideki basically any field. They're just so good. I mean, their win equity is just so incredibly high. I know Sungjae hasn't won like a ton, obviously. Like, he finally got his first win at the Honda, but I like him. Like what you mentioned at the top of the pod, people are too sharp. Webb is going to be chalk, and he should be. I'm going right back to Webb and Cash 100%. Talk about overreacting. How bad did DK overreact this week? I mean, holy crap, dude. This pricing is bad. I mean, Webb should be probably 30+% owned. I'll still play him. Berger, we always joke about how people fade a guy after a win. I don't mind Berger. It's a bit of a heightened price tag. It's funny, like, oh, he wins, automatic fade. But
he's tired. He's tired.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. I probably will skip him just because that price point. I would much rather play Webb. I'd much rather play Rose, and I'd much rather play Patrick Reed. Patrick Reed, we always say, I love saying it's just so funny that because he's hated, people don't play him. Literally, like, I hate Patrick Reed. It's the same reason probably why I'm a coward and I don't play Xander. So it's like, it's the same thing. But I think my favorite plays in this range are probably Webb, Reed, and then, dude, what is DJ doing at 8,500? Oh my God. That is, I don't care if he has missed 17 cuts. I do not care in a row. That's an egregious price. If he misses a cut and people want to troll me, that's totally fine. That is an awful price. Like, that's ridiculous.
Hey, 100%. I'm with you. I addressed that in our chat room as well. I mean, I'm looking at DJ and I'm laughing. I have no other words. It's 8,500. I get it. Whatever. He had a bad 2 rounds post-COVID, right? Don't play him, I guess they say. So, yeah, come at us. If please troll me and Sam. I mean, I'm gonna play Dustin Johnson more than likely in cash games at 8,500. I mean, I've never had this opportunity, right? So why not? I mean, I'm playing him. He's actually a PTI specialist. I mean, who knows? It's Monday. Maybe he does become popular, but we were joking in Discord. I'm looking at my notes last year. I mean, he's obviously one of the highest priced guys last year in the field, like he should be. He was like my number 1 play last year at a ridiculous high price point. So unless, in 365 days, Dustin Johnson lost his powers, I don't know how you don't play him in cash games. Yeah, Webb, he's 9K. I mean, I feel like you have to start with Webb in cash games. I mean, and again, people that haven't played DFS golf as long as we have, I will say, let me put an asterisk next to Webb. Webb's been around a long time. He's done weird things at times, meaning you would think he's chalk, like, 9K, whatever came off a miscut. People are going to play him again because they're sharp. He goes through weird spells where he'll miss the cut again, and then he'll miss the cut again, and then people will never want to play Webb again. I'm just saying, I am a little bit scared. I'm not going to lie, but 9K, this is course for Webb. I mean, looking at the data, looking into his history.
Give me one reason to not start my cash game, Webb, Dustin, Kuchar.
Yeah, I mean, Kuchar's another. Like, Kuchar's 8,300. He's always 8,300, though. So
yeah, I mean, that's the only price that makes sense this week. Is Kuchar.
He's fair. Kuchar's fair. I could see if he was 7,800, we'd have the same laugh, right? So I mean, yeah, it's again, if I lose in cash games this week, I'm not even going to be mad. I'm really not, because guess what? I'm going to have a hedged tournament roster that's going to be freaking in the top 5 percentile. It's literally, that's what's going to happen. But I'm assuming that this is just, a nice cash game roster this week. So yeah, I'm totally in agreement with you. And for people that are newer listening, Sam and I don't always just agree, honestly, on the same guys.
All right, I gotta ask. I play Answer every week. He's really good, but are you gonna go back to Ricky and get suckered like I am, or no?
No, because Ricky is a guy that he's like my Xander to you. Then again, is Ricky even ever right? I don't know. He never wins, so screw Ricky, dude. Like,
gotta be on him like the one time a year he wins, maybe. Yeah.
He's just, I don't know. I personally even hate his golf swing. I don't like it, period. So I'm done. Like, I'm off brand. Like, I've never really liked him to begin with, so whatever.
I gotta say, we skipped over what's gonna be the talk of the town. I'll touch on it for like 30 seconds. I watched it. Okay, so Spieth, he looked pretty locked in for the first 2 days, and I like Jordan Spieth a lot. He is whiny, but a friend of mine mentions to me, and it's true. I think the game of golf on on TV and everything is better when Jordan is good. He's a big brand name. He's kind of a good guy, good Christian boy, whatever. But dude, I just don't think. I mean, if you looked at him on Saturday and Sunday, literally, it was the magic beans again, where he's making 40-foot putts every other hole, masking a lot of these inconsistencies. He looked fine, but I don't know. I think people are going to flock right back. I'm probably going to fade Spieth again. I'm not sure if you're going to play him, but
yeah, in 3 lineups, I feel like I'm
going to. Weekend was questionable, very questionable.
He's not going to have to drive her as much, even compared to last week. But I don't know. I mean, I'm probably going to play him. In full disclosure, I'm kind of with you. He's got the electric upside, whatever he feeds off of the crowds that aren't there anymore. But the one thing I wanted to laugh about with Patrick Reed is he led the field in DraftKings points last week. So is that bad? I was just wondering for clarification.
No, dude,
okay.
Dude,
I just played Patrick Reed. Last year we said the same thing. Play him every week. He's going to win 4 times throughout the calendar year. I feel like it's just, people overthink things, right? Unless you're MME.
Yeah.
It really is a different story. Take stands. I mean, if you're MME, probably don't play Spieth for sure. I mean, honestly, it depends on the ownership. Let it shake out. Come talk to us in our Discord. If Webb and DJ and Kuchar, let's just, for example, they're 25%, right? Well, come talk to us in Discord. We'll probably tell you should probably either fade them all or pick one and fade the other 2. So yeah, I mean, if you're making 150 lineups, you definitely probably should take some stands on these mega chalk guys. But we talk more of like a cash game build and a 3 max entry build, and obviously bets. Oh, did we miss our one guy? I forget. No, he's in the next range. Sorry. Okay. So we're moving on. We kind of hit on that range. Who's your number one leverage, real quick? Number one leverage in that entire 97,000 down to 8,000. Number one leverage play that will be in one of your main GPPs.
Besides Reed, I mean, honestly, I would say, and I never play him, I would say Tyrrell Hatton, but the people are going to play him. He's another one of those guys. People say that he's not going to be owned, and then he always is. So my actual leverage, I'm going right back to Answer. Answer looked really good last week. Until Sunday, he kind of gave a few back. He was top 5 for a lot of the Sunday. So I love Answer. He's so good. He's not the best on PGA courses, but he also hasn't played him a ton. So he's top 20 in ball striking. So I'll take Answer.
There's a lot of guys, and a lot of guys in this range, man. And somebody is not going to be as high owned as we think. And I'm just going out on a limb because everybody loves Hideki. Sung Jae is just, people know. You play him. We talked about some of the other chalk guys. First off, I can tell you for a fact, Koepka will be the lowest owned, no doubt. I mean, you can play him as, one of your main tournament rosters. I mean, a lot of leverage. I'm probably not going to play him, but I think Finau goes loaned. I do think Ricky goes loaned. But ironically, man, I know this sounds probably not like such a great take, but I think Rose goes lower owned than we think, just because of where he sits in between, a Webb, a freaking.
You want to know why
Hideki's back, Sung Jae.
Because people are sharp and they realize that like Rose mainly just rode an insanely hot putter, and people are sharp, and all the stats are out there. They see that. I think Rose is an awesome play. I think Rose is playable in cash. Yeah, I agree. I like that take actually a lot. I think, because Webb will be probably the chalkiest of the entire field, and then Hideki always has ownership. So Rose could be the forgotten one right in the middle of there. I agree with that. I like that call.
All right, let's move on. 7,900 Kokrak, who was mega hot last week. In fact, speaking to him real quick, like he's popping in. At least it's just I never look at just 4 rounds, but he played pretty well last week, especially because I didn't get to see him.
Sunday, he whipped out. He whipped out the tie. Yeah.
Shocked to see him up there. So let's go down to 7,000. 7,900 to 7,000. Who are a couple of the building blocks? And then I guess maybe he's a building block. Let's talk about the one player that we have a bet on in this range that we like for a few reasons.
Yeah. So I guess I'll start because he's kind of the top. I think Kisner, I'm following a bit of a narrative, but I mean, number one, he's a good P-type player. Top 20 for this field. These are all long-term stats, but top 20 in fairways, top 20 on Pete Dye, top 10 in scrambling. And this may be a narrative, but I mean, this interview is like, I feel like my game is really coming around. I feel really good about it. I like to hear guys who are confident in their game. And not to mention, I mean, we don't have a ton to go off of. We don't have a lot of form, but he does have, I think he has 3 top 15s here in the last 6 years. So he's comfortable. Kisner, he's like known as a big game hunter. He shows up in big field, doesn't win. He just kind of plays well. So it's tough to see him kind of winning, even though I like the bet. But I think he's really solid. I think he's a little underpriced. And then, dude, oh my God, I can't believe Jason Day is 7,600. I will touch on that in a second. But I like Ian Poulter a lot. He looked good last week. His putter was a little iffy, but he's a really good P-type player. And then, dude, Joel Dahman he's going to pop in everyone's stat models, but Dahman is just solid, dude. Like, he's just a solid player. He's
one that's a lot of money.
Dude, I mean, we say Kuchar's always 8,500 or so. Dahman is always like 7,500 for some unknown reason. I don't really get it, but those are probably my favorites along with Hadwin, but I have a play down there I really like, but I'll let you name who you like first.
Okay, so first things first, because again, I didn't watch any golf last week, and I am looking through some stats. I'm filtering through 4 rounds, which again I never do, but it is awesome to see Kokrak kind of pop in a model that I had saved for last year. Obviously, I'll kind of adjust things later in the week, tweak things a bit, but man, he was just top 5 in just about everything. Let me just read off a couple. Number 7 in opportunities gained. I mean, that's a telltale stat that we like to see. So he was putting the ball close, no matter if he was making it or missing it with his putts. I think proximity this week, according to my notes in the prior couple of years, especially these par 3s from 200 to 225 yards, and just in general across the course, these are something that I'm baking into my personal simulations this week. And he ranks 2nd and 4th respectively last week alone. And he's always been kind of that guy in specific. So I think he fits his course probably better than people think. I think we associate Kokrak as a bomber, but when he gets hot, man, like he plays really well across the board. And then number 3 in DraftKings points. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. So I don't know if I'll play him in cash games. I probably won't, but I really like him a lot. And I wanted to stress that just looking at some of the data right there. Scotty Scheffler, I'll go back there. I think people are going to be burnt. This is another Scotty Scheffler course, and we get a price decrease. I mean, who knows? Maybe he becomes more popular. Kisner's the guy that we talked about. I really think he is a building block this week. In specific, you and I have a bet. You kind of trolled me into it. I was looking at him when I put, my card together earlier this morning, and he was, for some reason, I deleted him. Some people think making more than 5 bets is a lot. I think I have 7 this week. I wanted to put a couple other, and we'll get to them, more darts out there. But Kisner was an 8th, and I deleted it. Then you started talking about him, and I started looking more into his stats, and I really like him this week. I personally think you can play him in cash games. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I have an outright bet on him already at 60-1. Jason Date, you mentioned him. I'm not going there for cash games, but I'll play Jason Date 7,600 in tournaments. Like, why not? You know he's going to be low owned. I have to. JT Poston. I mean, I have an outright bet on him, and this is not anything crazy. You know, if you guys are wondering, come back into the Bet Karma Discord in specific. But you know, it's a flyer bet. Of course, I probably won't go there in cash games. I think he fits really well here. He's a better player, I think, than people think. He kind of comes and goes at times, and who knows? He's young, man. Some of these guys take a while to actually really tap into their talent. So I like Poston. You can always play Ben on. I mean, geez, he's tough to trust these days in cash games. I mean, the dude is wild. You mentioned Dahmen. Bubba's down here at 7,400. I mean, I'm not trying to play Bubba here, but you know, Bubba's 3% last week.
Oh my God. Bubba's made everything on Sunday just unbelievable. I mean, yeah, that was crazy.
Absolutely crazy. A lot of guys in this range. I mean, if Fitzpatrick's in this range, right? You know, I like Fitzpatrick. I liked him last week. I like him this week. I think it's another play that he's not sexy. He's not people aren't going to play Fitzpatrick. There's a lot of guys to play this week. I mean, I can tell you they won't play him. Snedeker is a guy that, like, it's hard for me to get on him, but I think if you get on him on the right courses, plus he didn't play last week, Snedeker is going to be low owned. I mean, Snedeker is definitely a great GPP play, without a doubt. And I guess keep coming down. There's Rafa's in here. He played well last week, it looks like. I mean, Corey Connors brought the putter the week that I was gone and out of town. I was shocked. Seeing that leaderboard, I was like, how did I not play more Corey Connors? Like, we talked about him on the podcast. I didn't have as much exposure as I thought. And did you see he was like 3% owned? I thought he was going to be like 15% owned.
By the way, remember what I said on the pod? I said, if Corey Connors gains strokes putting, he will come top 20. Look what happened. Gain strokes putting.
Dude, he's so good. Last guy, and then back to you. Rory, the real Sabbatini, who we talked about last week on the podcast. We talked about him last week on the podcast. Look at his course history. He sets up beautiful here. Rory Sabbatini, nobody ever plays him. Nobody ever plays him. That's it.
Okay, my GPP guy, I will play him probably one of my three. He burns me a lot, but I've also picked him to win once, and he did it for me, so I think I owe him. My guy at 7,100 is Russell Henley. Okay, hear me out. He will probably suck. However, before COVID, he was on an absolute, strokes gained approach. He's on a tear. Long-term, top 25 tee to green and ball striking, fourth in approach. Doesn't hit that far, hits a lot of fairways. He's actually pretty good on Pete Dye. And I believe, looking at his history, I don't think it's anything incredible. But if I look over, just to confirm I'm not making it up. Yeah, I mean, he's hit or miss. He has 3 missed cuts here, 3 made cuts. But when he makes a cut, he's come top 25 every time. So I think Russell Henley is my lone dart that I like. I don't see him getting more than, I don't even know, 3% owned, 5% owned, but I think Russell Henley is a great value down here for GPP only.
So this reminds me of some of our NFL podcasts with like Matt and those guys. I remember a week in specific with Matt. Honestly, I forget the guy, but like he said, the best thing ever. And like live, I was looking at something else, going through some of my data, and I wrote this sticky note down. Like, you're right. Here it is for the YouTube people. Shout out to YouTube people that comment on our podcast. We love you. I just wrote Russell Henley name down. It never would have dawned on me because there's a lot of guys. I mean, there's Bud Colley. We talked about him last week. He's 7,200. I mean, are people going to go back to Harris English? If not, I am. But there's so many guys down here. Nobody's going to go to Russell Henley. Now, hear me out on this. Again, I never look at 4 rounds rolling stats. Last week, he came ranked 7th. What did he finish? What did he actually finish last week? Pull that up. Henley. Or did he not play last week?
Okay, I might be mistaken. I don't think he played last week, but did he? Let me just make sure.
Either way, I'm looking at the last now 12 rounds and 24, and you're right. Like, this dude has been on fire. I mean, no joke. And
it's like,
this is the
really good. If I'm not mistaken,
This is an amazing GPP play. Unbelievable. 2% owned. This is where you go, oh my God, I can't believe it. He had top 5, right? And this is where you thank us on Twitter, blah, blah, blah. You win all the money. Okay.
Also, AC, I'd be remiss if I did not mention Streelman, who has finished top 10 here back-to-back years. Streelman, auto cash play.
Streelman's been one of those guys that I've been trying to get a little bit more on board, and I don't know. He's let me down a little bit.
He was fine last week until the back 9. He just lost all his putting to make. I mean, he was ass on Friday back 9, but Streelman, I'm not gonna.
He's down here.
Yeah, dude, he had a terrible Saturday. That was pissed me off. I was like, I looked so smart on Thursday. After Thursday, I looked like an absolute like tout genius. Everyone I touted was like dominating except for Ricky. Oh my. Are you gonna play the course history guru, Luke Donald?
No, and anybody looking into that,
he has like 9 second place finisher. I'm not even kidding. He has so many.
Luke Donald's been playing for like 30 years because people that they get newer into DFS, especially golf, and they don't really truly understand and look at. I remember when I was a complete noob in DFS golf, and this was like 5 years ago. I remember being like, oh my God, I have to play Luke Donald. I mean, you have to, just look at his history, and then you realize when you play him and then he misses the cut, then you realize why you probably don't. But yeah, I mean, even if he makes the cut.
This is comical. Last 10 years, 33rd miscut, second, 15th, second.
It's ridiculous.
37 second, third.
I mean, yeah, play him.
How do you not win? How do you not win all the seconds? Oh my God.
It's Luke Donald. I mean, yeah, I forgot. This is Luke Donald. He's going to be 8% on minimum, but who knows? There's a ton of guys here this week. So a normal Heritage Harbortown tournament, like you're playing him because there's nobody else there. You know what I mean? So there's just so many guys. Like, I mean, no one's going to play Harris English. I'm definitely talk about leverage. You open talking about leverage. You were inferring one way or the other. This is going the other way. People are going to zig off freaking Harris English. We got to get back on because Harris English played well. He played in a couple those random tournaments leading up to last week, and I think he finished second the week before. I think that's why he got popular, right? But he also fits this mold. If Harris English is not going to be played this week because he hurt people's feelings last week, play him. Same with Ryan Palmer, right? I mean, how are things changing for Palmer? I mean, this dude's going to make the cut more than likely. I mean, I would take him over freaking Luke Donald, that's for sure. But yeah, there's a lot of ways you can go. Any darts? I mean, honestly, I didn't even look in the 6K range. I know my boy who won me money last year, CT Pan. I'll probably give him a couple loyalty reward points for what he did for me last year. Honestly, I think I won like 25,000 here last year. CT Pan will get a couple love shares from me in like a 20 max entry. But other than that, man.
You see his first and second round feature group. He's like playing with like Rory in a deck.
Mentally, he's going to get destroyed. Just seeing those drives. You know what I mean? He's going to be 100 yards back.
I would say people I'm going to lose money on the 6K range is my weekly losing money. Russell Knox, I may play in cash because he's won this tournament or won something similar to it. He's an asshole. I will be playing Sebastian Munoz, as always. God, dude, no one really let me down last week was Jimmy Walker. Man.
I told you not to play him. What did I say? I said Jimmy Walker has a medical issue. He's not going to be ready physically.
Dude, he played semi-fine, but then he just collapsed. Dude, Kevin Chappell is back.
Chappell, the Iron Specialist?
Yeah, dude. 6,300? Wow.
There's guys down here. I mean, Charlie Hoffman, he's always just lingering in the 6K range. And hey, my boy Vaughn Taylor came through last week. My boy Vaughn Taylor, he never lets me down. Oh, no, wait. Did he miss the cut?
Dude, there's a non-zero chance in a 20 max I have like 5 to 10% exposure to Ted Potter Jr.
Don't even do that. That's a terrible decision. I just.
Dude, he's so good.
That's like saying you're playing him and Luke Donald. You might as well play Luke Donald in that lineup and just get 6 missed cuts.
TPJ is golf.
All right.
He's such a goat.
This range is trash the more I go down below. I mean, maybe a couple sprinkles here and there, but there's a lot of guys in the 7K range. We talked about them. You can do a lot of damage with it. So we gave away some bets. I talked, I think, a little bit more about my bets. The one in specific, there's a few more. Head on over to betkarma.com, get in that Discord chat. I did want to point out, I like Hadwin. Hadwin was really close to a key lineup for me last week. I had a 5-6, and I was surprised to see the ownership. And I think Hadwin actually goes a little bit overlooked again. I mean, there's too many guys, dude. And, people can't hype everyone up. But I have an outright bet on Adam Hadwin as well. Any final thoughts from you?
I have Hadwin at 125 to 1. I have DJ at 40. I told people in Discord this morning to get him at 45. I don't have DK Sportsbook, but I told him to get DJ at 45. And then I obviously took Kisner at 55, I think. I will be restarting this week. I'll have my official Bet Karma article so people can see that on Wednesday morning, where I'll have a couple outrights, top 5, top 20, and then a matchup. Spoiler, Carlos Ortiz will probably be the top 20 because I've been in the top 20 every week. And then, dude, who's your pick to win that's under 8K?
That's under 8K?
That's not Kisner.
Man, I know I think Kokrak's got that upside. But under 8K. Wow. It's just crazy looking at Jason Day at 7,600. I mean, I think you gotta say Jason Day because you have to. And oh my God,
he's good on PGA too.
I almost played Sergio in the 5-5-5. I'm so glad I didn't. He's so bad. But he really didn't play that bad. I mean, I guess I'm looking at it right now. But it's funny, Sergio 7,300. I mean, what? I understand the monumental collapse, but this technically is like another Sergio course. I don't really recommend him, but I think you got to go Jason Day or Kokrak is just mega hot.
70 to 1.
It's wild, man. I mean,
I'm not going to bet it either. Actually, I probably will bet that. That's insane. I don't know if I can pass that. Mine would probably be Hadwin.
Tail me on that. I like my boy Hadwin. Hadwin comes through, man. And you like the around the green.
Dude, Luke List won on Corn Ferry. He's going to do it again this week.
No, I'm not going down that path. If people play Luke List this week, you're tripping. Don't do it. How did he even lose his tour card? I mean, not to get off topic here, but
I don't know. But he's now re-goated, dude. He's winning on Corn Ferry when nobody can lose money.
As soon as we get some longer courses, we'll be on the Luke List train. All right, that does it. We kind of hit our time limit here, so we gave away some decent amount of bets this week too on the podcast. As always, there's more in not only the content but in our Discord chats. You can access really both of those at dfskarma.com. There's a subscription packages there, and same thing at betkarma.com as Sam just mentioned. So good luck this week. If you guys have some success, please give us a shout out on the Twitter machine, and also we do appreciate any comments on the YouTube channel because that helps us out. Thanks, guys. Good luck this week.